So next, we haven't done anything with our server. It is a blank canvas. So what we're going to do now on any brand new server for the first time, we need to, one, update our software. Two, we're going to restart our server. Then we're going to create a new user because we don't want to operate as root. That's very, very, very dangerous, and I'll explain why. We want to create a user that is a super user who can use root. We want to enable login for the new user, and we want to disable the root login. It sounds like a lot. It's kind of a lot, but once you do it once, you'll be like, okay, I kind of get where we're going here. So I laid out all these steps. I'll walk through them, I'll talk through them, and then we will execute them. I'll do them with you. And I'll move slowly, so follow along. Let me know if I'm going too fast. So obviously the first thing we need to do is we need to SSH into our server. We've already done that. Next thing we need to do is we're going to update our software. So we're going to say apt update and then apt upgrade. APT is just the package manager for Ubuntu and the Linux distributions. And then we're going to restart our server, kind of how you have to turn it off and on again. We're going to say shutdown now -r. So that sounded like a lot. Let's do it together. So I'm going to SSH into my server. And like I said, I always go through history. It's so much faster. I could just do this a different way, but I just like doing the up arrow. So SSH into root. And then the next thing we're going to do is, we're still root. That's OK for now. We're going to apt update. So this is just kind of a fetch and saying, like, what are the latest libraries? This might take a few seconds here. So I'm running apt update. So now I'm ready for actually upgrading the software. So I'm going to run apt or apt upgrade. Let me clear. And we'll just say yes. And this is just going to check all the built-in libraries and libraries that are installed on our current operating system and just bring them up to the latest version. We want to do that first because if we do it after we install software, it could turn out it's a breaking change somewhere along the way. So we do this, the first thing we do is make sure all our software is up to date. That way later down the line we can just iterate and not have to worry about it. The good news is we generally only have to do this once. Later in the course we'll figure out how to do this automatically, unattended, which will be nice. So you're probably going to run into something like this. It's going to throw up a window saying, hey, there's a newer version. We're just going to keep the local version installed because the local version works and we don't really want to mess with it. So we'll just say OK. And pending kernel upgrade, remember we talked about what the kernel is? That's the second lowest layer between the hardware. So the kernel talks to the hardware. So we'll just say OK. Not much else we can do here. And we're just going to restart all the services by default. So we're just going to scroll down. And tab to move to the OK. If you get stuck, we'll say OK. I usually don't mess with it too much. It works just fine. So hopefully all your upgrades ran fine. There's no issues. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to restart the computer. So we're going to shut down, but we need to say we want to shut down when. If we just say shut down, it'll say it by default scheduled it for a day in advance, because assuming you don't want to pull the plug immediately. It's not something you do very often on a server, naturally. So we want to say shut down right now, but we want to make sure we restart it. So the -r will let us restart. So I'm going to hit that. It's going to kick me from the server because it's rebooting. And it'll take a few seconds to come back online. But when it does, we will have a nice clean install with the latest libraries, and hopefully nothing broke along the way. I don't think so, but you just don't know. You saw those packages and commands being run. You never know when something's going to go a little bit awry. If so, we can probably get you back. Now, if you forget the -r, you can always manage your server from the control panel in DigitalOcean. You can bring it up, bring it down from there. But we try to do as much as possible from the command line. So I'm going to SSH back in. Nope, still not up. So still coming back online.
I connected through New York. New York has rebooted already, so just FYI.
Maybe New York is faster. And SFO is back up.